Thank you, Brian Conlon. This is song Pin Up Girl. And now a frenetic 50 minutes or so from our guest speakers. Briefly, I was asked to keep their biogs to the minimum. Elaine Feeney was born in Galway in 1979. She had been writing practically from before birth. Dave Lordan describes himself as a performance poet. So, alternating together, fantastically, frenetically, Dave Lordan and Elaine Feeney.
Hi everybody, and thanks for coming. I'm just going to start with a poem called War March. It's about an anti-war march that I was at a couple of years ago in Dublin, and this book was reviewed today and the reviewer said she liked it, so I said okay, I'll read it tonight. I powder my face, I bleach my hair, I make myself other. I'm not without fault, I'm not into hurting rocks. I march in line with others, those who isolate speech bubbles, stone throwers, unshaven men in ribbed khaki hoodies, girls in the hijab, pimply ones with grungy gunk. Women in gypsy skirts tell me they're learning Arabic. I chat, but they're still suspicious. I've never been to Dhaka or Palestine, homes in Palestine, as large rusty keys are stolen off old men. Earlier on the history timeline, I show first years panic-fueled diamonds swallowed whole in unleavened bread in the Warsaw ghetto. I don't show them a Nazi officer raping an escapee as hordes of skinny women try to keep their babies quiet by filling their tiny mouths with sharp stars. It's a copycat, as usual, to keep the rats running the wheel. The rain has repelled the crowd on O'Connell Street. We pass the post office, busy in pennies. Children skip brightly through coloured anoraks, trip to the pavement. Watch the landmines. Oh no, wrong country, skip away. In the dark distance of flakes and berries of lucky green herbs, can we still not feel isolation, desolation, interrogation? Now it foams our fattening skin and blood glistens from the eyes of other children. American army planes glide through Shannon with six-pack flat-top boys awakened from their wet dream on an island far from Idaho and East Virginia, buying silly sheep t-shirts and Guinness key rings. Is this it? Is this the sum of our freedom? If my hell has words, it says my ears are no longer Switzerland. My country is no longer on the uplands. This island is no longer the timid young brother. Go, march, for soft-headed children die everywhere. In weathers of erosion and melting heat, behind full flock curtains, beneath thin steel wire, in ghetto holes, between tall concrete graffiti slabs, under cold dark moons, in tiger clubs, stone huts, desert strips, pink brothels, under truck bonnets. They groan for their mothers. Baby brothers are crawling on their hands and their knees. We scream for a powerful sea to calm this boiling blood. For fairy tales books with pictures, for pastel blocks and bright shapes, for streets again with full fruit trees, pyjamas without stripes, tooth fairies, a few ships of salvation, peace, a simple thing.
Can you see me? Yeah? Okay, my name is Dave Lordan, and I'm going to read you a poem about love and hate to start off, very short poem. And the poem is called Arabs. Arabs. Our Arabs lived on the western barb of town, wrong side of tracks, ripped up as obstacles to progress. Those dirty Arabs. They ate their own. I should know. I was one day nearly 8. It's not love that herds us into nations, is it? It's hate. Hate's the human harness. Love kicks. Love bucks, and then it gets put down. Or else, and this is rare, it flees into the hills of separation with all the marks to bear.
You know, when you come to a point in your life that's kind of dramatic, And you look back at it and you wonder what you talked about with the person. When I split up from my husband a couple of years ago, and the last thing he said when he left the house was, "Don't forget to feed the dog." We're still very good friends, but that's what he did say, so it's called Feed the Dog. Feed the dog! Can you manage that? You know where it is, the dog food. I've left your heart in the rabbit mix. I think there's one in it already. It's not mine. Mine is in my rib cage, pumping solid sweet plasma to all my fine organs, and my blemish-free skin and epidermis tough as the heart in the rabbit heart tin. Feed the dog! Can you manage it? I could write it down for you before I parachute from this burning bungalow. Walker, there's a spare tartan leash, like the tomatoes you flushed down the drain, green like the shirt you stained, clogged like the mind you strayed into. Feed the dog, can you manage that? It'll take you far from all that drunken pain and whimpering moans. And that Mensa crowd, they don't serve you well. All their talk of menstruation. Feed the dog, can you manage it? I've left an ounce of confidence. Throw it in a yogurt. And the screeches from the dog food can, you can find your heart there.
The lights are totally mad. It feels like from up here it looks like I'm looking into a tunnel full of ghosts or something.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, we don't get to live for long, but you know, so it's kind of practice, isn't it? Now, guys, I'm guessing that there's a lot of people in this room who are like me, and there are people that you've lost over the years, but you still have conversations with them in your head. Does that make sense? Yeah? People that you've lost maybe a long time ago for different reasons, family, friends, all that kind of thing. And I have a lot of people like that, but I have one particular person that I've been conducting an argument with for years, you know what I mean? And it's kind of a friendly argument, you know. And when I'm lying down to go to sleep at night or at funny times of the day, you know, this person comes into my head. And this poem is called To a Ghost. And it's about that relationship, and I do believe it is a relationship that I have with this person who is no longer visible, at least to me. To a ghost. Why should you, who had no shield, stand guard for me? How would you cleanse when you never got a leg up from the muck? What kind of guide would you make when you stumbled one-eyed in the half-light all your life? And why should you forgive when you never had a decent shot at sin? It's too stupid even to talk to you. You do not listen. You are not there. Not a lookout perching on my shoulder. No big calming whisper in my sleepless midnight ear. Your only haunting is a question, and it permeates the air. Though I can never answer, and you will never tell. For what? For what? For what? My ghost, do you come here? For what? My angel, did you live?